Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Friday to all. Welcome to First 11 Grounded Football Tottenham Hotspur. I'm joined by just the two tonight. We've got one out on the piss and one unfortunately working on his birthday. But Alan, welcome again. How are you, mate?
I'm good as always. Good as always. Hopefully the North London derby goes ahead and Arsenal don't chicken out like they're trying to, and give them a good old hiding at the lane, and then get 3 points. But I'm not too bad otherwise than that. But yeah, loads to talk about tonight.
Definitely. And Mark, all there on your own. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. You?
Yes, very good. I'm the same as Alan, Mark. Even though me and you were just speaking about it off air about the North London derby and everything like that. Let's hope it goes ahead.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I think they're a dangerous precedent if they do not let it go ahead. I was reading the rules beforehand. We'll get into that anyway as we go along. But yeah, I think the Premier League. Don't we have a World Cup this year in December, November, December? By the time this league's finished, it'll be August, September. The way we're carrying on, we're setting a dangerous league. Need to step up now and grow a pair and just go. Look, you got an under 23 side. Play some of them. This is what a development squad's for, isn't it? This is why we have 44 players in a club from first team to development to under 23. So, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, that's what they're there for. But like you say, Mark, we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
The Morecambe game, Alan. What a fun game that was. How did you look into that game? Did you spot anything that you absolutely hated like the rest of us?
Yeah, just that basically a lot of our B team are not at that level. And to be fair, when you make a lot of changes and you make 11 different changes, it unsettles the team. But the quality these players are meant to have should see you through quite comfortably still. But they didn't. Slow, lethargic. Certain players like Ndombele, for me, he's done at this club. Looks like he's going, which is good. Got to get rid of the deadwood and the people with weak mentality. Hopefully Dele Alli goes as well. He's let two or three good seasons get to him. It's just a lot of deadwood in that team. And then we had to bring, and full credit to Morecambe, we had to bring on our big guns to see him off. So they played their part. They played really well. And, the people on that pitch who put in really bad performances for Spurs should hang their heads in shame because it was quite abysmal.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, I spoke about this on Coys.com podcast on Monday. The players who Conte went with, obviously, he's given the chances to Ndombele and Dele and players like that. Should they feel embarrassed not only that Kane and Mora had to come on, but to even put them on the subs bench against, with all respect, Morecambe?
Yeah, look, I don't want to give them any credit or that, but you've got to picture it. Have you ever played in a football side, cricket side, golf? It's maybe 5 times, 10 times better than you. You raise your game, don't you? I know I do. When I used to play a lot of golf, I used to play against some of the pros out in Dubai, and you raise your game to them because they are so much better than you. I'm not saying Morecambe were there to beat us, and I'm not going to take away from Dele Alli and Ndombele and everything. But these Morecambe guys, this was the game of their life in Tottenham Hotspur. So they came out wanting it. What I don't understand from our players is, and the lack of hunger, the lack of belief, the how many times does Dele Alli need to be given a chance? We say it week in, week out. Okay, Dele's got his chance now. He's going to come back. And he just doesn't. Now, is he playing? Is he being played on the wrong side? Is he not being played in the position he was being played as when Poch was here, when he was at his best? I don't know. The thing that got me against Morecambe, though, and you saw it in my chat, because I thought on Sunday, do you know what? I'm not going to talk a lot. I'm not going to do it on. And it just got me. Next thing, I'm writing everything on WhatsApp to you guys, because we've got Cess on the bench, right? Left-footed player, wing back, very quick, right? But yet Conte goes and starts a right-footed player on the left. Now, forgive me. I need to understand, why would you do that? And then he goes and does it again on Wednesday. You know, I need to I need to understand. And I know, look, I love Conte, but we chatted in the thing. Is Conte trying to make a point? Is he trying to show the board, like, guys, look? Because if he is, we've had some of the biggest managers on the planet come to us, and they've tried to do it. And you see where they are now. Do you know what I mean? So I know everybody, I'm seeing everywhere, if Conte walks, that's it, the club's finished. We said that for Mourinho, we said that for Poch. We must probably said it years ago, even before our time. And Tottenham's still there, and they're still getting. So I got to be very careful, you know. And Conte also needs to be very careful, you know. Don't push Lewis and Levy into a corner where, you know, they come out fighting, you know. I kind of liked his interview today. I don't know if you saw it today. Maybe it was a bit of a put on. Maybe Daniel Levy said you need to go out there today and say that you're happy. But yeah, Sunday. Yeah, I just don't think they were up for it. I think, you know, it's one of those things. It's a cup game. It's Morecambe. We'll easy piss this, you know. And I was really disappointed. Really disappointed. There was no guts. There was no glory. It was, you know, and you could hear with the fans, couldn't you?
Oh God, yeah, very, very frustrated. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but I mean, Alan is. I read on Twitter. I can't remember what day it was, but the obviously the excuse trains out for Dele Alli at the minute, saying that he's played too many games for a man of his age. We've ran him into the ground. His legs are hurting. And I mean, is it time now? We spoke about it last week. Cut the excuses. He's not playing to the ability that he was. He's clearly not happy at Tottenham. We're not happy with him here. Get rid now. Cash in on him and bring new blood into the team.
Yeah, well, when you run somebody into the ground, you see a drop off in a thing, but you can still see the classes there. But it's just the person's fatigue and stuff like that. How have we played too many games when the last 2 seasons he's hardly played anything? It makes no sense. You know, he played quite a few and all that. He had a ground running as a youngster, but 2 seasons he's barely played a game. So I'm sorry, you haven't run him into a ground so much that 2 years, you know, 2 years of fully playing, 2 years of not playing. It's just, you can see his lack of mentality. You can see he's I don't care kind of thing when he's playing all that. For me, we should have got rid of him last season. Definitely get rid of him now. We only bought it for 5 million. We can get 15, 20 million out of him. It's still a profit. And actually go for players that want to play for this club, want to give 100%, just have a better work ethic and don't put themselves above the club or just believe that their own hype. And that, for me, that's his downfall. You can see the way he carries himself, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well, with TikTok or Instagram. And it's all about the image, all about him, all about Dele Alli. So for me, he's not he's got loads of ability, but just applies it in the wrong manner, applies it in the wrong way. You know, and because he doesn't play in his favourite position, shadow striking Kane, like what he was really good under Poch, it seems like he doesn't give much of the effort. He can't dictate a midfield or carry a midfield, and that's the only place we'll place him. Like now, because he's not going to be shadow strike with, especially under Conte, he won't be in that position anymore. So really, he's wasted. So and he doesn't apply himself, so he can go. He should have gone last season. And I would definitely take 15, 20 million for him and buy somebody else who wants to be in this club.
Yeah, I agree massively. I mean, Mark, another midfielder that Alan touched on earlier was Ndombele. I mean, obviously, the report was today that he's training on his own, separate from the first team. I mean, what a waste of talent, and 60 million that Tottenham actually spent as a record transfer. I mean, where do you go from here with Ndombele now?
Do you know what? Everybody's saying he's got so much talent. And I did a little bit of looking up this week just to see, because everybody's gone, and I tried to look on YouTube and everything. And before he came to us, he played, was it Lyon? Was he at Lyon? Years or something? or 18 months. And then before that, wasn't he in the 5th division of the French league?
Yeah, so I think it's like a Kante story, isn't it? Yeah.
So I'm trying. No, not like a Kante story.
No, not the talent of Kante, but the division.
I'm trying to understand why everybody thinks this guy's a baller or he's so good. He hasn't shown it yet anywhere. I think he had 3 games, really good games for Lyon in the Champions League. One was against Man City that everybody talks about, but I'm not, one swallow doesn't make a flock, as they say. So if he's had one good season, it's the same as Kane. People say, oh, Kane, he's a one-season wonder. No, he's not. He's done it 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons. The same as De Bruyne, the same as Salah. They've done this season after season. And I'm trying to understand why people say so many things about Ndombele. He hasn't shown me in the last 4 years or 5 years at previous clubs that he was worth 60 million. And that's where I'm trying to. So for me, Ndombele, where am I now with it? Oh, and he needs to go very quickly. The problem that we've got is, and I think Alan hits the nail on the head, the problem is we can't shift the man, unless we tear up his contract and just go, there we go, we're going to lose 60 million, you go and somebody will just take him on a free. I think we're in deep trouble with him. So I was reading somewhere, or I was listening to somewhere, him training on his own could be, somebody said it could actually be a godsend, because sometimes when you train with the team, you give kind of 60, 70%, 80%. All right. However, if you train one-on-one with a trainer, it's just you and the trainer, and you have no choice but to give 100%. So maybe Conte was talking about getting his fitness up, and that's maybe why he's gone. Because I don't think Conte's done with him yet. I think Conte wants to condition him, if I'm honest. I don't think Conte's done with him yet. I think Conte, deep back in his mind, thinks he can do something with him, but he wants to get him super fit. But me, as I stand, I'm with Alan. When he walked off that pitch on Sunday, he should have kept on walking and just walked and walked and walked. And there was no trains. He should have just walked to the next train station, because I'm done with him now, because I believed all the hype when he first came, that everybody was saying that this guy's a baller, this guy's brilliant. But for me, honestly, he's not blown me away in any shape or form. Even some of his football, I've not. The one goal that I've seen that I thought, wow, was breathless, was the one against, was it Sheffield United? And that's the one that really stands out for me. Other than that, he passes me by in games.
Yeah,
and that's why
he does pass by in games. That although he doesn't apply himself, he's got like a mentality. The thing that I'm so frustrated with, and we spend so much money, is you can see in the way he plays football, he's got loads of potential. He's got the ability. He's got passing him. He's got skills. He's got all this in abundance, and he just doesn't apply himself. That's for me. That for me is the reason why I want him gone, because the mentality's not there, the work ethic's not there, and that's major fundamentals that you need to be able to perform at this level. You need to be able to, when your back's against the wall, you need to be able to dig down deep, use, have the right mentality to be able to drag yourself and team through it, and he doesn't apply himself. For me, he's got all the ability, he's got all the gear, no idea. That's why I want him gone, because he's a disruption to the team by the sounds of it.
But remember, Alan, when Poch was there, remember Marcus Edwards? Now, if anybody knows Messi, the young Messi, Poch knows him, doesn't he? And he grew up with him, or Messi grew up with Poch being in the Argentinian team and everything. And wasn't it Poch that said, this young Marcus Edwards, he's going to be the next Messi. This kid he's just so talented. He's just everything about this Marcus Edwards. And what are we talking, 10 years ago, maybe, or 8 years ago, 6 years ago? And I bought into that. And I thought this young kid's going to come through and he's going to be the next big thing. And somehow his head maybe got too big. He didn't want to do certain things and everything. Where is he now? Is he playing second division Portuguese league?
I don't know, but that's what I mean. He's another one. All the gear, no idea.
Absolutely. But even when he went to another club, he hasn't like blown it up where he's gone to Benfica or he's gone. So, yeah, like you say, you can have as much talent as you want. But this sport, this game we're in, it's not golf where it's individual, where like Tiger Woods, you have to rely on your own. So you can be a bastard. You can do what you want. You can say what you want. Sport, and if you're not team if you don't think, if you don't have that mentality, and that's why I think Winks is doing so well at the moment, because Winks is a team player. He's not an individual. He plays for the team, and when he's in that team, he thinks about everybody else but himself. And I think that's why he does so well. And working with somebody with Conte, he's gone from there, and just in a period of 6-7 weeks, he's levels. Now just think, give him another 3, 4, 5 months. You never know. His levels might double.
Yeah, well, is that not the annoying thing, Alan? Obviously, anyone who watches football, obviously, we all know Tanguy Ndombele is a better footballer than Harry Winks. He could do more on the ball than Harry Winks. He could play, but this is what is his fourth manager now. He played a little bit on the on the Poch, Mourinho, Mason, Nuno, now Conte. So 5 managers now, and each manager has said the same thing about him, that either he needs to get fitter or he needs to apply himself more. I mean, surely after the second or third, you'd think, right, it's not working now. I can get some money back. But who's going to want him back? Who's going to want to pay for him now with the money that Levy is bound to ask for, Alan?
But that's the thing. I mean, I think with any properly run team or top tier team, after the second or third manager, he's done, he's gone, he's out the door, sell him, take a loss, and go again. But we're Tottenham Hotspur, and we keep these players and keep these players and keep these players until we either let them go on a free or take a loss, or they get too old and not good enough at that level anymore, and then we start again to buy again. And that's why I call us sometimes Sentiment FC, because literally it's that type of thing. And the Ndombele should have been gone after he didn't work with Jose. Jose Mourinho, I think he should have gone. But then that's the thing. Yeah, okay, I agree. Harry Winks has got the right mental attitude and the way he applies himself. But his ability is subpar at best sometimes. And literally sometimes when he passes the ball, he's only got one method of pass, and it's hit the ball hard enough and hope he gets there. Like even when we played really well against Liverpool, the balls over the top were just hit and hope. So I never saw him ping like a 30, 40 yard or a 60 yard crossfield ball pinpoint to the person's chest. It was just hoofing over the top and letting people run on. If you could have Ndombele's talent with Harry Winks' mental attitude and the way he applies himself on the pitch, I reckon you're on to winner there. Unfortunately, we've got the best. We've got, I'd say, the wrong bits of the wrong people. I don't know. It's just a bit of a mess. So Harry Winks for me is no better, and he should go too. But yeah, and Ndombele, we should have tried getting rid of him after that, and hopefully now we are actually getting rid of him, because we may have lost about 20-30 million on the guy if you can get that for him. But I just want players. I want a team that will just roll up their sleeves, give everything, fight, show the right with ability as well would be a bonus. But we haven't got many of them people in the team at the moment.
But I where we're talking about, the collective as a team, how this sport is a team. I take you back to where Leicester won the Premier League. You look at that team at the time. I don't think there was any kind of, or none of us would have thought there's a world-class player in there. I know Kante played for them, and look at him now. He's amazing. And he would walk in our team every day of the week. But back then, they all collectively played for each other, didn't they? The mentality was right. And they must have had some kind of a skill, but the whole teamwork, and look what they did. And I know what you're saying about Harry Winks. So what he's got the right mentality. What we've got is one of the top 3 coaches in the world that's going to be able to take him now from that great mentality, but with the skill of maybe not a world class, but hopefully take him to that next level. Maybe not world class, take him to that next level, better than what he is now in pure skill, but he will still have that right mentality. And that is what we're praying for. And that's why Conte turns around and says, Winksy, I can trust part of my plans. I can trust him. And that's what he's looking for, you know.
Well, for me, Winks has got the right mental attitude and mentality, but for me, he's average at best. So if Conte can get him to a level of not world class, but if Conte can get him to a level of great, then I will shave my head bald. He's never going to reach that level. He really won't. And if he does, I'm going to shave my head bald and come on here as an egghead. But I'll be Daniel Levy's son. There you go. But I just don't think it's going to happen.
But would you have thought Victor Moses would have been as good as he was without Conte?
Well,
that's why this guy. But that's why this guy is.
People do Victor Moses a disservice. Now, Victor Moses wasn't a great player. Victor Moses was a decent player at Wigan.
Oh.
He was. People just doing dirty because it was Wigan, and I don't like that with people. Like people just go, "Oh, Conte took him to finger, and he was nothing before." No, he was a decent player, and if he's better than what Winks is now, in my opinion.
What everyone else forgets as well is Victor Moses was in a much better team than we've got right now. He had better players around him than we've got right now that would have brought him up, made him perform better. We've not got that. Our main player at the minute is not doing nothing. So he is a guidance for our players. As much as people have slated Harry Kane this season, our other players look at him as a target for performance, let's say. They're not better than him. They won't perform better than him 9 times out of 10, but they look towards him as a performance indicator. Now, he's not playing. He's not doing anything. I mean, against Chelsea, obviously, he's running a lot more, which is great. Yeah, that's fantastic. He's working harder. But, I mean, on Wednesday, Mark, against Chelsea, he had I know we was 3-0 down and everything like that, but he had a simple pass into Lucas that was given a penalty at the time that wasn't. But, I mean, last season, he could have done that. He could have turned around, backheeled it straight into his feet, would have been a goal. But, I mean, everything that our lads are doing is just hard work.
Everything we touch, I think in every single match, if you go back on my WhatsApps to you guys, I've mentioned passing, have I not? Passing. Our passing at the moment, and I don't know why, and we can't pass a ball 10 foot to somebody. And I don't know if other teams read us or know where we're going to go, but our passing is up. We either hit it too long, we hit it too short. Our player that's receiving the ball doesn't come for the ball. I don't know what they're doing in training. They're having a fun in training, but our passing for the last 4 or 5 games has been abysmal to the point where we've got the ball, we're coming forward, and then all of a sudden you turn around and somebody else has got the ball and they're attacking us again. Harry Kane, I love him, and he's running a lot more. But yeah, he's nowhere near the levels. But the thing is, you know what it's like. When a team is not playing great, it doesn't matter how good you are, you know, you're going to be dragged down. Even if you're at the top, that weight is still going to drag you down. So you're only going to be as good as your player. And that's what the team means, you know. So if he's not getting a great service, if he's not getting all the passes, and then when he does have to pass, like you take it, is it last season or the season before when him and Sonny, that ball that he played to Lucas Moura would have been perfect. He would have put it where Lucas Moura would have just dinked it over, run round him, boom, put it in. You know, last season, that goal that he scored where it was offside, and I'll be honest with you, and I'm a bit embarrassed, but that offside rule caught me as well. And because I sat there and went, hey, what? Huh? And then I only clicked that there has to be 2 people. I thought there only had to be 1 outfield player where there was a goalkeeper, but that shows you following football for 44 years, played it for such a long time, and that caught me out, you know. And then reading Twitter, it caught even professional players out because I hadn't seen it for such a long time. But yeah, with Harry Kane, and we sit here every week and we go, you know what, the kid's going to come good. He's going to come good. He's going to come good. He's going to come good. But I'm with you. Our passing, it's not working this time at the moment. And I can't put my finger on it. I really can't put my finger on it.
So for me, there's something I disagree with what you just said. Let me just explain the bit I disagree with. You said,
of course you disagree, mate. It wouldn't be you.
1 second. No, you said that where basically Harry Kane, when he's not playing with that good, it brings him down too. Harry Kane's poor attitude this season has what's brought himself down and also had an effect on the team because he's poor attitude because he wanted to go in a way he's carried himself since. So he's playing better. I'm not taking that away from him. He is playing better in a fly, but he's still not getting goals. But he's poor attitude, the way he's handled it himself on the pitch and all that, has what's led to himself coming down and also, I think, bringing the team down. Don't get me wrong, there are members of the team that aren't at that level and have brought the team down as well, but Harry Kane has added to it. It's not the team that brought Harry Kane down. Harry Kane, with the way he's conducted himself on and off the pitch for Spurs since the start of the season because he didn't get his move, has what's affected himself and the team as well.
I agree for the start of the season. Absolutely. I'm with you. But I think the last few games, the way we've played, I think it's bringing him down because I think he started to, in the last maybe 5 games, I think you can see he's starting to play a little bit better. He seems more interested. He's smiling a lot more. He seems to be buying into some sort of project. But yeah, I agree with you. The beginning of the season, the guy was a lost cause. He was like the black sheep of the family, wasn't he? And it felt like the team didn't like him anymore, and it felt like he was ostracized. He was like pushed to one side. So yeah, I agree with you in the beginning, but I just think at the moment, and I'll be the first one to say, Wednesday, some of this team selection for me was on Conte.
Oh yeah, no, I'll put blame on Conte when
like Lloris on, if he's fit and he's ready to play, you always play your number one goalkeeper for me. Now I don't know why he played Galini. Says for me, whether he's not fully up to fitness and he's only 90%, he's still left-footed. So he's still better placed to be on the left rather than playing Doherty. I don't understand that. And I go back to the thing like Ryan and I were discussing. Is he trying to make a point? Because if he is, for me, there's only going to be one winner in it, unfortunately. And it's not going to be us fans, and it's not going to be Conte. In my opinion. And history tells us that, doesn't it?
But for me, in that respect, this is where Daniel Levy actually loses because Spurs fans, when we got Mourinho, he was a manager who had his better years. He came with us and I reckon he could have still won us that cup if they hadn't fired him 1 week before the final. I think he could have won that cup. But he was a little bit past his best, Mourinho, in fact, so stuff like that. And Mourinho fanboys will get onto me like they did on Twitter this week, defending Mourinho. But they'll basically say, but look at the team he worked with. Okay, that's fine. But Conte is actually world-class at this moment in time, are still a world-class manager. If you give him the money and back him, he can definitely make your team better, potentially win trophies to something other. If Daniel Levy does not back a world-class manager and makes him walk after trying it with Mourinho, this will expose Daniel Levy. And for me, this will be the turning point where he finally loses, because I think this will make Spurs fans absolutely irate. And hopefully, if he does screw Conte over and doesn't give it that, hopefully there'll be mass protests, mass walkouts and all that, where we don't fill the stadium and we will all protest on that side. And finally, Daniel Levy realises, damn, because as I've heard before, and it's a great saying, Daniel Levy's fired so many managers, but if Daniel Levy was reviewing Daniel Levy's, tenureship as a chairman, he would have sacked himself many years ago. He probably would have sacked himself 10 times over by now. And he is the one who's stealing a job, which makes the guy an arrogant prick and should leave this club immediately.
Sure. I agree with everything you've said there. I agree with everything you said, but you know what? He will sack Conte, and I bet you he'll still be there for 10 years. Because arrogant, bald-headed pricks like that, they are the ones that will succeed. And it's us, poor chumps, that pay every year our £1,600 season tickets because we are so passionate about the club. This is why we are so irate. This is why I sit on WhatsApp and I get so mad, because we're like kind of armchair coaches, aren't we? We think we know better than Conte. We sit here and we go, why is he playing? I think the reason is because we don't really get an explanation. He still hasn't.
Well, I've not put a
he
single
actually got
penny.
Quite upset.
I've not put a single penny of my own money into that club since 2016, 2017. Since we finished second. Because ever since then, all it's been is, manage what you got. Pochettino, it didn't work, and it's gone downhill and all that. And I'm not giving a penny more of my money until we start challenging and actually acting like a big club and challenging for trophies and winning trophies. I'm just not doing it anymore. I've done years of putting my money into that club. I'm not doing it anymore.
And that's fair play, Alan. But we're still the 9th richest club on the planet, and people are still putting their money into it. So that's like the banks. We turn around and the banks raise the interest rate. If everybody at Barclays Bank turned around and said, you know what, I'm taking all my money, Barclays Bank would go bankrupt. But nobody would do that. Everybody talks a good game and says, you know what, he doesn't do that. He sacks him. We're not going. But yet 62,000 people will still go watch them play Arsenal. And he will still make his 1.6 million pounds sitting at that. So we talk a good game. I'm with you. I'll walk with you. I'll protest, get Levy out. I'm with you. But it won't happen because I'm a realist. He's been doing it for 20 years. Why is it going to stop? He got rid of Mourinho. Now Conte is good, but it's not going to change. And that's what worries me with this.
Hold on. I'm a realist too. And let's be honest, Spurs fans have never protested or anything like that in mass numbers. The best we got was a couple of thousand when this whole Super League happened. But if we were to actually arrange proper protests where on a certain minute or people didn't even go to the game and left a huge empty seats at a stadium, were protesting outside and all that for proper change and was doing it on a consistent basis, we would see change. But like you say, there are fans and we're glutton for punishment, like for Spurs fans. We just go week in, week out and all that because we love our club and stuff like that. But serious measures have to take place for us to be able to progress as a club.
Yeah, and I'd like to sit here and say to you, I think it will happen. Even my heart tells me it will. My head tells me it won't. Because, like you say, we love Tottenham so much, and that's why we come on this pod. And this is why, when we win, we're so happy, and when we lose, we are so pissed off. I get it. But and that's why Levy survived for 20 years, and we've had some of the greatest managers, we've had some of the greatest players, but yet he's still there. He sits on his ivory kind of throne, and I don't know if you saw the picture that panned over to him. Yeah. He was sitting on his lowsome, did you? I don't think anybody wanted to sit. There wasn't any within like 15 meters of him. I don't think anybody. He's probably handed out tickets. Do you guys want to come sit? You can sit in the director's box, and everybody's going, nah, not tonight. I don't want to be you.
Let me ask you this, Alan. Obviously, Mark's just talked about basically manager chairman warfare. We've seen it go on in this club many a times now. When I spoke to my dad after the Chelsea game, obviously he's the same. He was saying, why on earth has he started Galini over Lloris? Lloris is on the bench. He's not injured. He's not got COVID now. I love Antonio Conte, just like you do, Alan, just like Mark does. And for some reason, I'm trying to defend his every decision at the minute. So my idea, I said to him, Alan, was maybe he's forcing this board. Maybe he's trying to force a board's hand to an extent of Lloris's contract. Maybe he's saying, if you don't give him his contract now, this is what we've got. This keeper I've put in tonight now, this is who we've got, because you are not only messing around with transfers now, but a loyal servant like Hugo Lloris, you are maybe trying to penny pinch on his contract. Maybe you're not offering an extra year that he wants. I mean, Alan, you call me out on everything I do. You told me straight every time. Am I just being too as Prime is in the comments as well now? In the old word of Jose sexual, am I being too much of a Conte sexual with these decisions at the minute?
No, I have to agree with you. I think that's what he's doing. I think he's basically saying, Lloris is not here. This is what we have to work with. If, who else did he leave out? Somebody who I was surprised he left out. I can't remember now. It was just, there was some changes. But I think he's basically playing these players and saying, look, apart from the good players we do have, or like top quality players we do have, like Kane, Son, Moura, Hugo Lloris. To be fair to Eric Dyer, he's playing better this season, but I need to see it continue all full season rather than a bit like that. Dyer's playing better because he wants Dyer to be part of his plans. Same with Romero, who I think will sign. There's certain players that Conte is looking at and going, I can get these players to play well, but there's the rest. I think Conte is basically saying, because let's be honest, when we brought him in, Conte came in after 8 games because of the situation. He didn't come in at the start of the season. Prime. But he didn't come in at the start of the season, and then we got him in after eight games.
Alan, I'm very sorry to interrupt, Alan. Don't listen to Prime. He got me in trouble on Twitter a couple of nights ago. I should be banning him off this channel now. He got me into big trouble on Twitter the other day.
All right, yeah. So Conte came in after 8 games, so we wanted him in summer. He wouldn't come because we wouldn't match his ambition. He's now come to us, and we've got into halfway through January. So we must have said we'll match your ambitions. It's got halfway through January, and there's been nothing. There's talks of goings out. There's maybe one talk of Adama Traore coming in. Nothing else. So Conte being Conte, for me, is doing exactly what he's saying. He's saying, back me. This is all we've got. And if we don't back him, I am positive he's going to walk. Because, it'll probably get to the summer, and it'll be, okay, we get to the summer, and then nothing happens then as well. Or we might get 1 or 2 players in and have 1 or 2 players go out. This team needs a fundamental rebuild to the fact we need to get about 10 players out and about 6 or 7 top quality players in. But you can't do it all in one go because it would disrupt the team and it takes hard. When Chelsea, after that year of the transfer window where they couldn't spend, they brought in 7 or 8 players and too many people at one time, and you need time to bring the team together, put them into a team, and it disrupted Chelsea for a little bit of time. And I think that was what led to also Lampard's downfall for me. So you can't do it all in one season. So it needs to be having a time. We need to bring 2 or 3 quality players in this transfer window and then add to it in the summer. That's what's worked well all the time when teams rebuild and stuff like that. That's what Arsenal have done over the 2 seasons. They've brought in players over the 2 seasons, 4 transfer windows, where they built their team up. It's what Alex Ferguson used to do so well with Man United. As soon as players weren't good enough, got rid of them, bought in new players, and they kept them at the top for 20 plus seasons, or around 20 seasons. It's also what Arsene Wenger used to do quite well. But for some reason, we build a team that do half decent or really good, and then we just let it get older and older and older until it gets worse. And then now, like I said last time we were on the stream, you got Kane, Son, and Moura, all 28 and 29. Underneath that, you got players like Lo Celso, Dele Alli, and Dembele. The next ones are in that age range, and they're not good enough. And then all you got underneath that are youngsters that we may have to rely upon. It's from the top. This club is just, we're screwed unless they change the way they're going to do things and back this manager. Because, like I said, he's a world-class manager at the peak of his ability. If you back him, he generally tends to have success.
Yeah.
And for some reason, they're doing to him what they've done to Mourinho and others.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, obviously, prime Chelsea fan, he's obviously had Conte at his club, like he said. Surely Levy has to back him. What would be the point of bringing in Antonio Conte if he's not going to get back?
Exactly.
Mark, is this a usual promise you this, promise you that to get you into the club, and then when it comes time to deliver, it's this has happened, we've had COVID-19, everything's going wrong? And do you think that they've made him certain promises that they just can't deliver on?
Yeah, see, this is where I also worry, we don't know if he was promised players in January. For all we know, Levy could have turned around and said, you know what, I'll give you 150, 200 million in the summer. We'll have a look in January. If there's anything you want, if there's anybody we'll put in front of you, if you like them, we take them. If you don't, we'll wait till January, till June. What I'd like to see, for me personally, I'd like us to come out. We've been linked with Kessie. Sign. He can sign now a agreement, can't he? Let's get him. Sign him up for June. Let's sign Lloris. Let's get it out there. He's signed for another year or 2. Let's get Kane. Sign him extend his contract for another 2-3 years. Let's get, what's his name? Vlahovic from Fiorentina.
Vlahovic.
Yeah. Let's sign him up for June. If we don't get anybody in January and we sign up extend Loris and we extend Kane, but we've got Kessie, Vlahovic, and maybe a centre back that's going to come in June. I said to you, I go, wow, those players. Plus we've got Pape Sassi as, what's his name? Pape Sarr or whatever his name is.
Sarr, yeah.
He's coming. Can you imagine? And then they'll turn around and go, okay, well, these guys are coming in June and we're going to work out the players we don't want. I'd be very happy with just one signing now, but we've got these others where we've signed pre-contracts, especially like Kessie, Vlahovic, whatever you call him, even Dybala, we sign him up. We sign him up now for coming in June. That would excite me. Then I know. Then at least it's like, you buy a house now, you can't move into it, but you're going to move into it in June. You know what you're looking forward to. That would appease us as well. But my worry is none of us are privy. Even people like Alistair Gold and all, they're not privy to what was said between Daniel Levy and Conte and Paratici to get him in. We speculate, we talk about it. This is what happened. Sauces, brown sauce, tomato sauce, ketchup, they've all said it. We don't know. So we're all thinking, well, this guy wouldn't have come if he wasn't going to get signings in January. He wouldn't have come. Now, I don't know. I'd like to think he wouldn't have come because he's the type of manager that has walked away when owners haven't backed him. We've seen it on 3 occasions. So he is that type of manager. But he himself said everybody says January's a tough market. But if we can show intent now where we can sign some people up for June, I'm with it, And then he's got to work this team and he's got to get the best out of this team now and plan for June. That's how I see it. But I don't know what was said in those talks. So it's very difficult. You see the speculation, but unless I was a fly on the wall between the three of them, it's all conjecture and hearsay. It reads well and it sells newspapers.
Aston Villa don't seem to be struggling with January transfer window, do they? It's not as hard as people make it out to be if you know what you're looking for and actually apply yourself.
But what if Coutinho comes and he's an absolute flop?
But that's hindsight. But they're making the moves. They've identified. Hold on. No.
But Conte didn't want Coutinho. No. It's come out today. He didn't
Let me finish. Hindsight is a wonderful thing if this player's a flop and all that. But the thing is, my point is, they've decided who they need, who they want, and they've made the moves and they've made it happen early and they've acted efficiently. When was the last time you see Spurs do any of them things in the transfer window? We always delay, we always put off, and we barely act. And then we finally sign people towards the end of the transfer window when we need people in and to integrate them into the team, to get them training together first. And we always delay, haggle on prices, mess about, end up making people, like pushing away people because we don't pay the right amount of money. We do that transfer window in, transfer window out, and it's boring out. I want us to act like Villa having this thing, assess, know who we want, and go and get them done as and when, like as soon as possible, rather than just dilly dally and basically end up with somebody signing the last day or in the summer, the last transfer window, like the last day of the transfer window, as it always happens with Spurs, because they act like idiots when they try and sign people. All it is let's try and get them at the best price, and it sometimes blows up in our face.
Does it not sum us up?
It always blows up in our face, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Grealish,
because they're like idiots.
Ruben Diaz, Bruno Fernandes, all these always blow up in our face because, like you said, Levy. We could have got Grealish for 28 million or something.
No,
and we 18.
No, they wanted 30 million. We would only offer 25. We wouldn't go 5 million more. It's embarrassing.
Ruben Diaz, Fernandes, and I think they got the wrong postcard and we went for Jetson.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. But he's a businessman, and that's the problem with him. It's just. But with Aston Villa, listen, I'm not too bothered about the whole Coutinho thing because it's come out where Conte really didn't want him. If I'm honest, he didn't.
I'm not saying about wanting him as a Spurs thing, but I'm saying.
But to be fair,
they've identified what they want and they've made moves and got it done. We don't do that.
But they left. What's the guy from Everton?
Luke Steiner.
I think that's quite a good shout. For me, that's quite a good piece of business. That, what, 25 million?
Yeah.
You know, Chris Wood's going to Newcastle, 25 million.
Yeah, well, let me ask you, Mark. Obviously, we talk about business. Us as fans may not be so keen on Adama Traore, but Conte seems to be very keen. Paratici seems to really like him as well. It's 20 million. Tottenham we've got 20 million. Even if we haven't, it's come out, I think I read it at the start of this week or the end of the week before, that we were unwilling to add Matt Doherty into the deal, who Wolves would like back. I mean, it's not rocket science. Us as fans know, and obviously we don't know the ins and outs of the club. We don't know what we've got. We don't know what we've got to spend or what we haven't. But 20 million for Adama Traore, if that's who this manager wants, do you not just go out and say, "Here, Wolves, there's 20 million. We'll have."
Yeah, I agree. In the grand scheme of things, when people are spending 75, 100 million on players, 20 million is nothing, is it? So no, I agree. And with that pace that he's got, oh my good God, you know, when he might not be able to cross now, he might not, but he's coming to where we've got one of the top 3 managers in the world. Maybe this guy can see something in his game that he will change, he will replicate, because he's done it with other players. His pace is going nowhere. He's still going to be that damn quick. He's still going to be Hulk. He's still going to want to be oiled. So, you know, maybe Conte can. So for 20 million, that's a snip. We seem to want to go for 50, 60 million players that end up being crap. I don't mind buying somebody for 20 million and he's a big part player, because that doesn't seem, maybe 20 years ago that was a lot, but nowadays 20 million. If Chris Woods from Burnley is going for 25 million, for me 20 million on Adama Traore with his pace is a snip. And hopefully Conte can take this guy and his coaching staff and God can make him a world beater. With his pace, defenders are going to be, and we just have to get his crossing correct. Harry Kane, Sonny, they'll be, wow. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know why the deal's not done. But then you see the Wolves coach comes out today and goes, no offer's been made. Now, I don't know if this is politics. I don't know if he's just putting mud in the water and upsetting people. You know, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. But you would think he's going to come out and go, no, we've had no offer. He's clearly in our plans. We don't want him to go anywhere.
Yeah.
We sit here going, what the is going on?
Yeah, Alan, go on. Alan, what were you going to say, mate?
He's on mute. Maybe he's...
Can you get off mute?
So what I was going to say is, you're saying that we don't know what's happening as fans in the boardroom or anything like that. Daniel Levy doesn't know what's happening. That's as simple as that. He has no clue where he's coming to go in regards to signing players. He has no idea how to do business. The only thing he can do, that's how we can't identify players, or we can't name signings in our. But all we can ever do is name business development properties or buildings and stuff like that in the business sense. That's all we can ever do, because he's that type of businessman. He just needs to step away from the club altogether. You know, it's just got to the point now where I'm just frustrated that he's even still at the club. I just can't deal with him anymore. It just really winds me up.
Nipun's put on in the chats that he says that Levy's got no control over footballing decisions anymore. Fabio does, and Paratici. But unfortunately for us fans, it's still that chain of command. We wish it to be Fabio Paratici, but Conte's got to go to Paratici, who's still got to go to Daniel Levy, who's still got to fly out to the Bahamas to Joe Lewis to get that permission. So unfortunately, Nippon, as wonderful as it would be to just have it as Paratici dealing with it, Daniel Levy cannot seem to grasp the idea of sticking to the business side of the football and leaving the transfers to others. But Mark, you've got a question in the comments here. Prime doesn't seem too happy. He wants you to elaborate on that, please, with Conte as the top 3. I think he wants to hear you leave Thomas Tuchel out of that top 3. I think that's what he's thinking about.
What? Thomas Tuchel is in the top 3.
You say Conte's top 3.
What, in the world?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guardiola, Tuchel, and Conte.
Conte above Klopp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you'd wind some Liverpool fans up.
If I don't do Tuchel, I wind Chelsea fans up.
If Liverpool fans are in the chat, I'm sorry.
Sorry, at the end of the day, it's on opinion.
Oh, there you go, look.
Yeah, there we go, Prime. Yeah, Klopp, all he does is whinge, man. Nine false positives. I could have hit the lottery before I got 9 false positives. Come on, man. Let's not manipulate the rules.
Well,
No. I listen. I think he's top 3. I think he is, and he's proved that he's been to, where has Klopp been and won all these leagues? Did he go to? He wasn't at Bayern Munich, was he?
No, it wasn't Dortmund.
Prime makes me die.
He was at Dortmund, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Did he win the league with Dortmund?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Oh, he did. I don't know. So I'm not a German football. I didn't know because I know Bayern Munich win everything. So I didn't know if he won the league at Dortmund. Because I was at in England, he's won it in Italy. So if Klopp has won it in Germany, then he's won it in Germany and he's won it in England. So if I change he's one of the top 5 managers in the world then, but he's up there, and if anybody's going to be able to change a certain player, it's going to be Conte. The same as if Klopp came to Tottenham, the same as if Guardiola came to Tottenham, the same as if Tuchel came to Tottenham. Those 3 aren't going to come to Tottenham and do anything different than what Conte's done. They're still going to have the same problems. They're still going to have Ndombele playing the way he plays. They're still going to have Doherty. They're still going to. So just because these guys come doesn't mean your team plays any different. If we got Trent Alexander, if we got Mo Salah to come play on our right, and we had Harry Kane and then we had, who can we put in the middle from, Jordan Henderson, and all that. Would our team be different? Of course it would be different. So, look at Chelsea. And I hate, Chelsea aren't my favorites at the moment. But how old is he? 36? Thiago Silva?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. He puts most defenders to shame. Did you not see? He came on. He had Harry Kane in his pocket, didn't he? Harry Kane was kind of running. He was scaring the defenders. As soon as Thiago Silva comes, he had Harry Kane in his pocket. Harry Kane couldn't do anything.
Mark, this season, most defenders have had Harry Kane in their pocket. It's not brag this season. Last season it would have been a brag, but this season it's not.
Thiago Silva's on a different class. And
before you two get started, before I go to the North London derby, and I'll go to Alan first on that. But Mark, I just want to ask you quickly on obviously the FA Cup draw. We've got Brighton. I mean, do organisers think or schedulers think about fans? I mean, FA Cup, 8 p.m. in London, Tottenham versus Brighton. I mean, did he think about anything like this?
I don't think so. That shocked me. I saw that 8 p.m. Saturday evening. What are they thinking? What are they thinking? And you can already see in Twitter land and WhatsApp land and everything, and everybody's pissed off. Listen, I think 8 o'clock Saturday night, more for, like you say, the TV around the world, isn't it? Because 8 o'clock here is midnight somewhere, and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon somewhere, and it's 8 o'clock in the morning somewhere. So I think they do it for, in Australia at 8 o'clock, it's probably 8 o'clock in the morning. So I think they do it for different reasons. But I don't think they think of the actual fans. Very silly, very silly. I would rather have done it 5:30 on a Saturday, which it's not a game I used to like going to because of travel and then getting home and your Saturday night. Or you do it at 4 o'clock on a Sunday or something, Yeah,
I mean, Alan, that game does seem to be going ahead, but Sunday's game's a bit touch and go at the minute. I mean, have the Premier League now got to really look into these things? Because Arsenal, yes, they've got injuries, they've got darts for the game, but games should be suspended for COVID issues. They've got one player out with COVID in Martin Odegaard. I mean, do you see this game going ahead, or do you think they'll postpone it?
okay, it should go ahead. If there are any Arsenal fans watching, don't get butthurt. It's not saying, I want to play you because you'll be weak and everything like that. According to Arsenal fans this season, best youth players, their midfield, defence, attack, everything's better than us. Their youth talent's better than ours and all that. So it doesn't matter what you should be able to beat us. It's just Arsenal fans being Arsenal fans. Where I stand with this is that, yeah, if this is called off, then the Premier League have lost all control of this situation. So the reason why we were the first team, the reason why things were postponed for us, is because you had 8 first teamers or 8 like within the first team training with the first team, and 6 staff all within the first team. Everything has to be shut down because it was a complete and utter outbreak. Since then, you've had teams that have had outbreaks from that. The Liverpool thing with 13 false positives. I'm not getting into that. Oh, they cheated and they got away with it. It's only ever that's nothing. I can't confirm or deny either way and all that. The Premier League should have investigated.
You can confirm it because it was 9 false positives.
No. 34. I can't confirm or deny. What I'm saying is that people are saying Liverpool cheated on purpose to get the game postponed. I can't confirm or deny that.
Liverpool fan?
Have
you got a lot of fans that are Liverpool? You just said, there's a lot of Liverpool fans. Are you a secret?
Oh no, sorry. There's a lot of Arsenal fans that are saying that they cheated. Sorry, wrong team. Don't be so pedantic, Mark. But I can't confirm or deny whether they are correct or not. I don't think Liverpool would, but the Premier League should have investigated if that did happen. Premier League decided not to. For me,
it's Liverpool.
Just move on. Yeah, just move on. But
Liverpool.
The thing is with this, it was brought in. I mean, to do with COVID cases. This is what's happening with Arsenal. Arsenal have let 2 players go on loan or got rid of in the thing. Maitland-Niles and I can't remember Balogun. They have 4 or 5 players. They've had 4 or 5 players go to AFCON. They knew this was coming. That's on them. They didn't prepare for them. They've got injuries. Obviously, that's unfortunate, but players get injured. And unfortunately, Xhaka's now Granit Xhaka has now been suspended for his own stupidity. And because Granit Xhaka's got himself sent off because of his own stupidity in the game, that now qualifies them to get the game cancelled with 1 coronavirus. It makes no sense at all. At the end of the day, Leeds had loads of injuries. They were still playing, and I think they also had the odd case here and there as well, but they were still playing, and they were using their youth and stuff like that, and they were one of games which Arsenal benefited because that's why Arsenal spanked them 4-1 because they had that many problems at their thing. I'm sorry, it's got to a point now, if Arsenal had an extra 3 or 4 cases or more people tested positive before the game, then fair enough. That's added to the thing. They can't play. I'm not being biased on that. I'm saying if they get more cases, or if it was fully all cases and that, the same thing happened with us, I'd be like, fair enough, can't play the game because this is a different thing. But I'm sorry, for Arsenal fans to be acting how they have the last week to do with Liverpool, and then trying to have all the extra things added to 1 case to try and get a game postponed, for me, is just pathetic. And I'm sorry, Arsenal fans getting on the hype, this should be postponed. No, it shouldn't. And then that means before this, when did you ever know a team to have a game postponed in the Premier League for injuries AFCON, people are going away to AFCON and, being suspended? How many games have you ever known to be cancelled because teams had so many things happen like that? You've never known it because people just play their youth and get on with it and stuff like that. And for me, this is just a really cheap excuse by Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean,
I have to agree. And I think before we went live, you and I were talking about it. And I'm so pleased that I just was looking because I missed it earlier on, but I'm so pleased that Gary Neville and Thingy were talking about it tonight. And they've actually highlighted it where they've turned around live on TV, millions of people watching it saying the Premier League need to step up now. If they cancel this game, it's scandalous. It is scandalous. This is going to set the wrong precedent, and people are going to use these rules. They're going to bend them. This is why we have a full team squad. This is why we have an under 23 squad. We have a development squad. This is what football is all about. They're 1 or 2 players short. The Premier League tomorrow could turn around and go, okay, you've got 12 players at the moment, 13 players with a goalkeeper. You're missing 1 player. Go to your under 23s, grab 2 players there and bring them out. If they on your books, if you are paying them money, they are professional players, get them to sit on your bench. You're most probably not going to use them anyway. We've got to make a stand. The Premier League, otherwise the English Premier League is going to become a farce, and people are going to use. And yeah, if they cancel this, in my opinion, I don't think they will cancel it. I think they're going to stand up. I think they're going to make a stand tomorrow, unless there's more than one. Like if tomorrow morning comes up, there's 3 or 4 with coronavirus, then it's cancelled. But if there's only one coronavirus, I think the game goes ahead, in my opinion. I don't think the Premier League or these 3 people that sit on this can afford to cancel a game. We've got 1 coronavirus potentially, and we've got 4 injuries. We just don't have people at AFCON, But AFCON is played every year or every 2 years, so people go anyway. Look at Liverpool last night. They've had 2 of their best players, and they were mediocre, weren't they? So everybody suffers from it. So look at Chelsea. Their best goalkeeper and all that. So yeah, I think you're setting a dangerous precedent. This whole COVID thing. The same with Liverpool. These 9 false positives, and all of a sudden only one person's positive. You got to be very careful. And this is what Ryan and I were saying. You can't cheat really the COVID one, because that you have to show them. You have a PCR test. You're either positive or you're negative. That it's in black and white. You can't cheat it, okay? Unless you got some corrupt doctor. But what you can do is feign injuries. And this is why I don't like the injury thing, because how can these 3 guys sitting on a panel dispute a doctor saying he's got a tear in his muscle or he's got a muscle injury? He can't play because if he plays, he might tear his muscle. And that's where it becomes now. Whereas COVID, if they come out tomorrow and say, well, we've got 1 COVID, but we've got 8 people that can't play, so we haven't got enough players. That's where the difficulty is. And this is where the Premier League was going, okay, well, what would you have done if you had no COVID and you had 9 players injured anyway? The rules are that this is about COVID. It's not about injuries.
Well,
that's what under 23s and the development side were put in place. They need to be playing.
Yeah, I mean, Alan, are these injuries to all these? I mean, every team in the Premier League has got injuries now. Everyone, like Mark's just said, for going into that game on Sunday, if it goes ahead, we've got no Dyer, we've got no Son. Romero and Reguilon have only trained today, so they've only had 1 training session, so they're more or less darts. Bergwijn's still a dart, whether we use him or not. I mean, have the Premier League done this themselves by postponing so many games already and forcing everyone to play three games a week as it is? Have they brought this upon themselves to where they now have to change rules a bit to cancel more games?
Yeah, I think. I mean, when it first started happening, I mean, not as many games has been cancelled as what there could have been, but there's been enough that, especially for Spurs. I mean, one was due to weather, like the Burnley game, but we had some games cancelled due to coronavirus, and some other games are happening. And what happens is at the end of the season, you will get a build-up of games, because I don't think that we played like now towards the end of the season, you get a build-up of games. It's just going to be, I mean, if you let this, like, my thing is if you let this one get cancelled to one case, every team from now until then, when something goes wrong for them, I think they'll use this loophole and just be like, as soon as they've got a potential case, they've got loads of injuries, they're just going to use the same thing. The Premier League for me needs to come out and say it's not to do with injuries or AFCON or suspensions. It's to do with coronavirus cases. If your team or your club is completely riddled with and have like 7, 8, 9 players and all that, rightfully postponed and all that. But then obviously with that, then you then have to postpone probably another 1 or 2. And especially if it happens to another team like us, when we've got to build up a 3 later on in the season, supposing it happens when we've got to play the games in hand later on in the season, and we get another outbreak then, and it's like the same amount as what it was, we then have to have them cancelled within a week and then play even further. And that's going to end up making it like May, maybe June, before you can finish the season for some teams because of what they're doing. Or you're going to have to play 5, 6 games in short period of time to compensate for that. And they're causing themselves loads of problems by not coming out and categorically stating it's to do with coronavirus and coronavirus alone. Because, like I said, teams are just going to abuse it. If certain teams get away with what they have, then other teams will start using it for their benefit.
But for me, grow some balls. We've been kicked out of the Europa Conference League, correct? I'm not upset.
Conference League, yeah.
But we were kicked out of it because, what did you say? We had 9 players and 6 staff.
The last count I saw was eight team members and 6 staff.
So we couldn't fulfill the fixture, and so we lost the tie 3-0. What I want to see is Premier League come out tomorrow and go, do you know what? You've had one coronavirus. Okay. Everything else was brought on by yourself. Nothing to do with kind of illness. So you fulfill the fixture. If you can't fulfill the fixture, 3-0 to Tottenham. 3 points. Simple. And not just us, but to all teams now. I think where they've made a rod for their own back now is the Leicester one. They postponed the Leicester game last week because Leicester had 3 or 4 cases. Okay, not many cases, 3 or something, but they've got about 5 or 6 players that have gone to AFCON, and then they've got about 3 or 4 players that are injured. So what's happened is they've made a precedent there, and this is what Arsenal's going to argue with now. But I agree. Premier League now, they have to stop it. They've got to come out and go, we are going to hit you hard, because I don't know if you heard Tuchel today. He was livid. He's turning around and saying, if these games get cancelled, then it's making a mockery. We had to play this. And I agree with him. And the same is, go back and have a listen to Gary Neville. They were brilliant. And I'm hoping the Premier League stand up, because this needs, it's just going to, otherwise what happens is we feel as fans and people, we feel like the league is becoming corrupt, that the big teams get all the right decisions and the smaller teams don't get it. You know what I mean? And that's not fair. It's got to be played on an even kind of playing field.
Do you know, for me, thinking back to it, I mean, Arsenal played against Liverpool. As far as I'm aware, when they played against Liverpool, the same players had been out on loan, the same players had been at AFCON, same players were injured. The only thing that's changed, where they went down to 10 men and they held out for a draw, that was great. That's the only thing that's added, because Odegaard was already diagnosed with coronavirus before. That's why I didn't play. The only thing that's happened since Thursday is Granit Xhaka got sent off.
No, they got 2. They got Saka.
Not, but only not.
No, they'll be playing. What I'm saying, Granit Xhaka will be the only one that's not playing.
Correct.
So they were okay. They were loving it because they got a point against Arsenal. And the only addition to the person who's definitely not going to be there is Granit Xhaka. And now they're saying that all of a sudden they can't fulfill and they can't play.
Yeah.
A couple of days later.
They're saying Sacco's injured now. They're saying this other. But you know what? As a Tottenham fan, I'd be happy to say, listen, Granit Xhaka, rescind that red card. Let him play. Let him play. I've got no problems. Let him play. He's a red card waiting to happen anyway against us.
Exactly. I mean, this is just basically, all I've heard, like I said, all season from Arsenal fans, in fact, far superior to us, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Doesn't matter what team we play, doesn't matter what team they play and all that, it will just be like that. And all of a sudden now they don't, they're using an excuse to not play, when most of the things that's happened, like I said, isn't to do with something out of their control. It's within their control.
Yeah, I think it sets tomorrow it happens, it sets a precedent, and I think the league becomes weaker. Where we sit here and we say, we've got the strongest league in the world, we've got the most, it becomes weaker, and we just, it will just feel corrupt and everything. We need to make a stand. The lawmakers of the game need to make a stand and say, guys, a lot of people put a lot of money into this, and it's not just about TV. This isn't about health and everything, because by bringing somebody that's from under 23 that's being developed, you're giving them an opportunity now to shine in a big stadium against, they're ready. If they've played, if they've sat on a bench in a 3rd round cup in the Carabao Cup, these guys are eligible. These guys, and 9 times out of 10, they won't use them. So I'm for it. Bring them on.
Well, this has been tried already, Mark, hasn't it? We've spoken about it. Crystal Palace trying to get the game against the suspended.
Absolutely. And then when they released their team, it was their strongest team, because even Majojevic came back, didn't he?
Yeah. But we're over an hour now, close to an hour and 10 minutes. So, Alan, if the game does go ahead Sunday, what's your score prediction, first goal scorer, and how do you think the game's going to go?
So, in being honest, obviously, Arsenal, like, there are others on hate them, like, but I'll give them credit where their credit's due. They've turned a corner. They are better under Arteta. He's got the team he wants on that, and he's getting them to play the way he wants. So they will still be a challenge, you know. Regardless, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. They will still be a challenge, you know. What I can't stand are fans that like fans that go, "Oh yeah, we're going to smoke you," to send it up, and they lose, and they go, "Well, you haven't won anything. It doesn't really matter." You know, I hate fans like that. So I give credit where credit's due. You know, I believe under Conte, this team, like, he will not allow complacency in the derby. I don't think he'll allow that, and I don't think the players considering what happened earlier on in the season under that deadbeat manager Nuno. I don't think it's going to happen again. So I think you'll see Spurs intensity from the start. And like I said, with Arsenal, a young team, when put up against it and all that, I think they might buckle under pressure. I think they were doing so well against Man City. Xhaka does that to get Xhaka gives away a penalty, and they lose their heads like we did under Poch in the early years. You know, when we had such a young team. You know, we lost the plot, and we had stuff happen to us that made us concede games, like from wins to draws and draws to losses. And I think Arsenal will have the same thing. I just think we'll edge the game 2-1. It will be a very tough game, but I think we'll have it to edge 2-1, and I'll put Harry Kane as top scorer. I keep saying Harry Kane because he needs to start banging them in. So I'll always put Harry Kane as the first goal scorer.
Before I go to Mark, Alan, it is in my phone already. I have gone 2-1 Tottenham, Harry Kane.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm sure it has. It has. We have the exact thing here.
Listen to me, Alan. Listen. I've gone to... at the start of the week, when I spoke to my dad after the Chelsea game, I said, no, we're going to lose 3 or 4-1 on Sunday. I said, no, we're going to get battered on Sunday because we're playing like we are. And like you said, as much as we hate Arsenal, you, as a football fan, as a football lover, you can't not admit that they've improved. They're playing better football at the minute, so you've just got. But with the injuries that they've currently got, obviously, if Saka's not there, Smith Rowe I think is ruled out. Tomiyasu's touch and go. Tierney maybe not make it. I do think that we can beat them. And Harry Kane he loves playing Arsenal.
Ryan, turn to the side quickly. Oh, look at that Pinocchio nose. Look at that growing. Oh, it's such a liar.
Well, Mark, it looks like it's just the two of us from now on. Let me. That's where he belongs now. That's where he belongs, right down.
Don't bother me at all. I like it down here, room to stretch.
Well, just because you like it, you can get back up there now. Mark, what about you? Prediction, first goal scorer, and how do you see the game going?
I saw a bit of training today, so I saw Romero was straight back into it, doing some tackles and everything. So he doesn't look worse for wear. So I'm hoping if Reggie starts. I think if they have got some of the injuries and they have to bring, I don't think they're going to have to start with any of the young kids. If I'm honest, I think they'll have kind of a normal side, maybe not their strongest side, but I still think they'll have a normal side. It's at home, hopefully full house. Yeah, I don't expect them to score because I expect if Romero's in with Sanchez and Davies, I'll go for a 2-0 Spurs. First scorer, I expect Kane to score, but I don't know if he'll be the first. I don't want to go with you guys because he's in my fantasy team and he's my captain. But I'm scared I'm not going to go with him and he will score, and that's the problem. I'm going to go 2-0 and I'm going to go Lucas Moura to score. I think he's for me he's been kind of our little unsung hero. Besides Hugo, who's been playing really well and he deserves his extension. I think Lucas has been kind of our unsung hero this season. He gets himself about. He's the one that really looks passionate, doesn't he? He fights for the club all the time. Yet his passes go astray. During the week he had some awful touches and everything, but he does look like he cares. He You know, he looks like he wants to play football. He looks like he's rejuvenated since he's come to Spurs and everything. And, you know, I think he loves playing with Conte. And I think Conte loves him because he's such a team player, isn't he? You know, so, yeah, I'm going to go with him. The one thing I don't understand, and maybe you guys can explain this, you know, don't get me wrong. I love Højbjerg. I think he's a great player. What I don't understand, though, is, you know, the last couple of games, you know, him and Skippy have been playing, and Skippy has been levels above him. But he gets taken off, and Højbjerg gets left on. What is that about? Is Conte seeing something we don't see?
I think it's trust at the minute. I think he still sees Skip as a young lad. Maybe you can't trust him for the 90 minutes. So I think that's just personally trust at the minute.
Do you? Yeah, it's a strange one because I think Skippy's been. I think he's been one of the others that has stood out for us. So that's the one that really I find strange. Besides the Doherty playing on the left hand side, which I still can't get my head around. And when that stops, that will make my 2022.
Well, gentlemen, hold on. I would say thank you very much, but Alan has quickly unmuted. I think he might have something to say. So, Alan, the stage is yours.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, what is it with us and getting absolute deadbeat right backs since Kyle Walker? Sergio Aurier, awful. Doherty, awful. And now Royal, oh my God. How on earth he has passed for a footballer and played for Barcelona and actually fooled us into making £25 million bid, thus losing 25 million before he services. I will never know. Well, we need a proper right back because that is actually a really dodgy area for us at this moment in time. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I would also agree with Mark on something. For me, Moura and Lloris have been our players of the season. For me, I think they've both been quality this season. So yeah, see, we agree, Mark. He ain't all about pumping heads. We come together.
Yeah, what do you want?
We agree.
We did say teamwork, didn't we?
No, Ladmus. No, Mr. Prime. Hell no.
Yeah, you take him and you give us Chilwell.
Right back. So Chilwell's left.
I still
Reece
take
James. I'll take Reece James all day long.
Yeah, I'll still take Chilwell over him.
Yeah. Or maybe they could buy Lamptey back with whatever clause they put in his contract and then resell him back to us in a trade for Doctor. I'll be happy with that. I mean, what else has he got to say? Didn't Barca buy and sell Emerson Royal in the same summer? That's profit. Barca are dodgy. They did buy him from. I think they bought him from Betis, loaned him back to Betis, and then sold him straight to us. I don't know why, but it has come out again this week that Barcelona have said we can't believe Tottenham have given us 25 million for Emerson Royal. That's not the best sign in the world, is it? We've got one here. Mark, if you want to answer this one. Doherty hasn't played enough in the right wing-back position, unfairly criticised all the time.
No,
so,
not me.
He's not unfairly criticised. He has done... Can anyone name me one good game from start to finish that he's had, that he's played full 90 minutes?
I can't. No, personally.
No. Doesn't matter where he's played. Yeah. He's always done nothing and all that. He barely puts in the effort. Okay, he hasn't played right wing back and all that. Okay, that's fine. But I've not seen anything. I've not seen anything to say he's going to be a player that is going to push us onto the next level. I'm done with sentiment FC. That we keep all these people because they haven't had a chance in this position, that position, all that. It's time for us to start trying to be as ruthless as other teams. Get the deadbeat, get the deadwood out. People that ain't good enough at this level, and bring in top quality players. That's the only way we're going to win trophies. And unfortunately, because of our board and our chairman and that, it's just not going to happen.
Hey, listen, Doherty was brilliant at Wolves.
He was.
I'm not criticising him as a player, but some moves just don't work out. And this move for Matt Doherty is just not worked out.
Especially when he done his Arsenal thing and go away, Agent Doherty. No, not in my team, thanks.
No, thank you. But I'm going to leave it there because Prime does seem to just be starting up his wind-up show for the evening. So,
God damn you, Prime.
So, Alan, do you want to let everyone
Tomorrow, this is just for Prime. Come on, City.
You can find me at my handle there on Twitter, Alan R. Clark 3. You can find me here every Friday nights talking about everything Spurs. hopefully next week is after a North London derby victory, if the game goes ahead. You can find me on the terrace after every Spurs game, just chatting general stuff about Tottenham and, hopefully
cold there
more
now?
putting Arsenal in their place, Arsenal fans in their place. On the Common News Spurs podcast, I'm on there this Monday with Ryan. I don't know how Ryan's on there every week, but there we go. On out with him this Monday. And then obviously starting again from Thursday on the Gales channel, the prediction show. Good news, I won the first half of the season with split into two. I came first after we've won this week. That's how Spurs do it, winning champions. And we're going to go again for the second half of the season. So hopefully I can make it 2 wins from 2. You're welcome.
Very good. And Mark, would you like to let everybody know where they can find you?
I'll be on Sky Sports at 7 a.m. That's why I got to go to bed now. Seriously, you guys are keeping me up with Michael Bridge and them. And just find me on Twitter and just come here every week and see us get angry when Spurs don't play well.
Have you noticed, gents? Kirst was in at the start of the stream, and she just decided to pop in right at the end. She knows her timing on this show, don't she?
Yeah.
She knows what she's doing.
To answer Prim's question, yes, I am on the watch along.
Oh, you poor soul. Yes.
Don't forget, next week we'll be reviewing Leicester as well, won't we?
Yes, I will get your predictions on the WhatsApp group. Probably on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday morning, once I've decided how I will spring my result and decision on you.
No, what I would suggest next week is you tell us what your prediction is before we give you ours.
I don't want to tell my Leicester prediction because coincidentally it will be the same as what Ryan had.
I will give you my prediction very early, I promise you. So, and I will screenshot it. I will show it on Friday. I'm harshly done to. I'm the bloody host of this show as well. Anyway,
I swear I smell bullshit.
I'm sure I can smell muted. Stay muted. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the First 11. Obviously, you get the legends like Latimus Prime on this show. What's Kirst?
Legend?
Oh, he is a legend. It's the same
joking.
every week. I wanted to throw my prediction in 3-1. Kirst is going for. I will get you goal scorer on WhatsApp, Kirst. I'm sure it will be. It can't be Son because he's injured, even though you've gone for Son.
Højbjerg.
Yeah, Højbjerg.
I'm not even funny, Prime. I've just defended you, Aaron. I'm getting all this stick off you now.
Yes,
I tell you
bro.
what, he did get me in trouble, Alan, on Twitter. I replied to a tweet of his and I got stick for it, and I was argued with, and I blamed Prime for a lot of it. But thank you very much. We appreciate the views. We appreciate everyone getting involved in the comments. You can find me every Monday on coys.com podcast. Every Monday, Alan. Not just one Monday, every Monday. Yes, you are with me you're with me Monday, Alan. I think Jacob is possibly on Monday as well because Patrick is in France. So he won't be on. So I do believe it's Jacob. I know that Dan Tracy, who obviously runs the channel, has asked me to give Mark a little push to get him on the show whenever he wants to come on. So I'll speak to Mark about that.
Yeah, let me know when the next one you want me on. I'll arrange it. What time is it? 8 o'clock.
We'll speak after the show, Mark. Don't you worry.
Okay, no worries.
I'll negotiate with you after the show. But
all right.
Thank you all very much. We will be back next Friday to hopefully discuss the North London Derby game and the Leicester game on Wednesday. So thank you all very much, and we will see you next Friday.